Hello to everybody. Episode 46, Behind the Scenes of Blessings. Welcome back. I know you've missed me. I know you have. I was out for football. Football's just a lot, and then pastoring, and then I got a daughter, and I got a hot wife. It's a lot. So I didn't want to throw podcasting on top of that and only give small effort to this because when you have so much on the plate, something's getting cut, and it's not going to be my wife and daughter. It's just not going to be. With that being said, last week you were with me when I got to sit down with my wife, Faith. Amazing, amazing. She did a great job. It was kind of cool because I gave her this really long subject line, thinking I wouldn't be able to get her to talk a whole lot. And I wound up having to cut the subject line in half because she talked a lot. So it was pretty cool. I loved all of it. And then to think that I'm following that with last week, the lady that is easily one of the best parts, if not the best part of my life, and my wife. And then this week, I've got the lady that if it wasn't for her, I don't have a life on planet Earth. So without further ado, um, you've been waiting a long time to meet her. You haven't been waiting as long as I waited. Um, the one and only, my mother, Miss Andrea. Mom, how are you?
Great, son. How are you? Thank you
I
for
am
having me.
I am absolutely lovely, and I will tell everyone how I started this conversation. You look beautiful today.
Thank you, son. You look very handsome and very happy today.
Well, it's a good day for a great day. So for folks that don't know, you are in Virginia. How's the weather in VA?
A little wet and cold, but it's supposed to warm up a little bit today.
Yeah,
So not too bad.
that is not Indiana. Indiana's cold today, rainy tomorrow, snow on Monday. So
I don't envy you guys right now because I don't even want the weather to drop any more than it already is.
yeah, yeah. So got to do a little follow up for folks that don't know. Uh, we are recovering from our 10-hour trip from Virginia. Um, so if someone would have told you 10 years ago, hey, and I realize this is much later in the subject line, but remember, it's just a conversation. If someone would have told you 10 years ago, hey, your daughter is going to get married to an awesome, awesome guy, but at that wedding, you're going to have your son and his wife, and it's going to be a freaking awesome day. 10 years ago, would you believe that?
Not in a million years. I would never believed it. I truly wouldn't have. I, tell you honestly, I didn't even think Ariana would ever get married.
Really?
Yeah, but that's more because of I raised her to be very independent, and I always made it very known to her that don't get married because you think you have to. Get married to a person that compliments you, but doesn't you don't lose yourself.
Right.
So I was always afraid that she would not find a person that would compliment her and she would lose herself in just being his wife.
She made an absolutely beautiful bride, beautiful wedding. And Mustafa, that's her husband, not Mufasa, not from Disney. Don't do that. Mustafa, great guy. If you want to know, and I told mom, he reminds me of like a mini Dave Chappelle. So if you put Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy in one body, you got Mustafa. I love that guy. Great guy. Um, my favorite part of the entire day, you walk Ariana down the aisle, and the minister asks, "Who gives this bride to be?" And you, with so much pride, say, "I do." And I was like, that's got to be one of the most awesome moments for her in the entire world. What does that feel like? Just it's got to be a stamp on just, hey, sure, you've made mistakes, but you did some things right. and this is a stamp for that.
To be honest, I think my mind was completely blank at that time. I was just so happy for her that she found someone that loves her and makes her happy the way that he does. And yeah, my mind was completely blank. It was almost like muscle memory. I know I was supposed to give her away, and that's all I can remember. Is like I'm supposed to say I do, but I'm just elated for both of them, and yeah, I'm over the moon for them and their new beginnings.
What was so funny about the wedding, and I had a good chuckle. You've got an awesome photographer there, awesome videographer, all that stuff, and you've got grandma walking around the ceremony taking pictures with her phone.
At least she still has not given anybody those pictures yet either.
And Uncle Maceo looks at me and he goes, "Are you seeing this right now?" That was great. I loved every minute of that. All
Oh,
right.
and but I did catch when I guess um Mustafa's mom Deborah actually I saw her put her hand on grandma's arm to have her sit down and say, "Let the photographer do that."
That was great. That was great. Just a great day. Um, all right. So Ariana has her own part in the subject line today. I cannot forget my sis. She's a gigantic part of you, and you are a part of me. So sis is a part of me, obviously. Anyway, let's go back in time 30 plus years ago. You are 16 years old, and I just accidentally told your age. My bad.
It's okay.
Um,
It's okay. I'm not
so
ashamed of my age.
you are 16 years old. As the old timers would say, you become with child. I would say prego. Um, what is your reaction to the news of pregnancy? What is your family's reaction?
Oh, that was reactions were not good. I actually had ran away from home because I was so deathly afraid of telling grandma that I was pregnant. So um the man search went on. Aunt Sue was in the military at that time. Uh, there was an emergency Red Cross message that went out, so they let her come home to help find me. They did find me, and by the time I got to the doctor, I was 6 months pregnant with you. So there was no, I never, it never crossed my mind to have an abortion, but we were already beyond that point of having an abortion. So you're mine, and I was going to carry you to term. And my original plan was to actually keep you, and raise you as a 17-year-old teenage mother. That was my game plan. Um, but due to family circumstances, that made it a little hard. The family environment was not very pleasant and wasn't fair to you to be in a place that had so much tension and unhappiness. So, um, we had decided to put you up for adoption. Me and grandma made that decision to put you up for adoption. So that's what we did. It was an open adoption. So me and grandma chose the parents that you were going to go to, which was completely awesome because I got to meet them and it was great. And we kept in contact for like the first year. But after that, and I had told them that they didn't have anything to worry, that I was making it was the best decision I could make, and that I would not come looking for you. I did tell them that. I said they didn't have to worry. I didn't want this to turn into like a Lifetime movie where it's like all of a sudden I show up at the door talking about I want my baby back.
Yeah.
So so yeah, I mean it was a very hard decision, but I do believe it was the best decision that we could have made.
Yeah. And just for PSA for everyone watching, um, this isn't so much for me. Mom and I, when we first met, there have been many times that we've sat down and went through the whole story, my side, her side, and we've ironed this out many, many times. Um, what I told mom was, so many people know the side of the story from the parents that adopted a child and what that was like for them, and all respect goes to that. In my career, I've worked with both sides, the side of the parent putting up the child for adoption, and I've worked with people that were adopting. But sometimes that story of the person putting the child up for adoption isn't shown enough light on. Um, and I wanted you to hear that side from a good mom, a good person. And I truly believe, without any doubt, my mom is. That's her. So um, the decision is made. Um, what what was life like after that decision? As far as well, to back up, the difficulty of making that decision. Can you speak to that some? Like, hey, this is for a fact what we're going to do.
Oh, it broke my heart because I wanted to keep you so badly. The selfish side of me wanted to keep you. The unselfish part knew that it was the best decision. Um, but once I wrapped my head around that this was the best decision for you and for me as a person who was a junior in high school and still needed to graduate high school, it was the best thing that I could have done. And um, once that decision was made, a switch kind of flipped in my head and said, regardless, I cannot allow my life to be meaningless. I have to do something. I can't stay at home. I have to make something of myself. That way, if we had ever met up, I could say you could be proud of me. So I got got my high school life together because I almost failed. I almost did not pass my junior year because I had missed so many days of school. So I had to fight the school. Well, grandma helped me fight the school, get me back on track, not have to repeat the 11th grade because I missed too many school days. Not because I was a not smart child. It was because I missed too many school days that they were about to make me repeat the 11th grade. So I managed to graduate with my high school class on time, made it, and literally that's all it was. It's like I literally had to make something of my life that way that if we ever met up again, you could be proud of me that I did something with my life and that it wasn't all in vain that that I put you up for adoption.
Absolutely. And to go ahead and again, I've answered this many times. Happy to do it every day. But for everyone wondering, I'm proud of mom. Proud of who she is. Proud of who she's become. Absolutely, I am. Um, so, what was the evolution of the family dynamic? Like, as far as, did you know grandma, grandpa, sisters, did everybody become closer to you at that time? Like, hey, we're going to support, or did everything go as normal, or is it awkward because, hey, we just did this thing, she's in high school, um, we don't really know what to do with our hands, so everybody's just kind of odd.
Um, I would say everybody was supportive of the decision. Um, the relationship was still a little strained between me and your grandfather, but that got a little bit better over time. But the decision was supported by everybody in the family. It truly was. It lessened the tension in the family dynamic. It Aunt Sue was in the military at the time, and I believe she was, where the heck was she stationed at? I don't even remember. She might have been in Fort Hood for all I know. But she went back to her living her life. So we kind of sort of went back to being the family that once was, with skeletons in the closet.
Sure. Sure.
So
So you do great in high school, get the high school life back together, and then you go off and join the service. So what obviously you've got a family of service. Um, is that what helped you decide on, hey, I'm going to join that as well?
whew. The funny thing is, my original plan was not to join the military, but my grades were not all that great. I kept the C average, so it wasn't like I was very competitive when it came to going to college. Um, so the fastest way for me to leave home was to join the military. And my original plan was not to join the army because your grandfather was in the army, retired. And I was like, no, I'm going to join the Navy. The Air Force wouldn't let me be a pilot because I wore glasses. The Marines are too crazy. So I'm going to join the Navy. And your grandfather looked me dead in the face and said I was too chicken to join the army. And me being stubborn, I called the recruiter and told him to come by the house with his contract because I was going in the army that day. And that's what I did, just because I had to prove him wrong.
So you
Well,
go in the army at what age?
18,
Okay. And how long were you in the army?
12 years.
Wow. Okay. So is that also, are you doing your college also while you're in the army?
I started in while I was in the military and finished it after I got out. I got my bachelor's and my MBA after I got out of the military.
So just for funsies, what did you major in? Like what are your degrees in?
I have a master's in business administration.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
and so does your sister.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Ariana is much, much smarter than I. I have none struggles admitting that. None. Like when we reconnected and then I find out that, sis got her master's when she was like 10 years old and, pretty much created college, like, and created education. And here I am like 30 and it took me 5 years in college just to not get a degree and like had to work my butt off just to get where I'm at. Like, yeah, you know, yes, yeah, sister's pretty cool. Sure, sure. Um, so let's go ahead and let's do that. So you go to the army. So just to do a globe, where all have you been stationed? Like, what did you do in the army?
Oh, I was an admin weenie. They call it, for the old people, they call it a company clerk. New people, they might call it S1. But no, I was an admin weenie. I was a paper pusher. So, but as far as where I've been stationed, I'm gonna tell you now. I went from basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and I went straight to Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, and then I was stationed in at the Pentagon in Washington D.C. That was the only places I've been in 12 years.
And the Pentagon is obviously still a thing. Um,
Yeah.
so you mentioned Hawaii, and that will bleed me into what's next. Um, so you put 12 years into the army, you get your degrees. Um, with child prego, a jar of prego becomes a thing again in Hawaii. Little Miss Ariana. So, how old were you when you got pregnant with Ariana?
I was 21 years old.
Okay. So outside of the obvious, like 16 years old with me, 21 with Ariana, outside of the obvious, you're not in high school. Like, did you feel more settled, more prepared to have a child, raise a child when Ariana comes in the picture?
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I don't know if anybody's ever fully mentally prepared or ready to have a child. And this is probably the funniest story is when I found out I was pregnant, I was in the doctor's office and I started hyperventilating. He is flipping out. He's freaking out, literally freaking out. Oh, do I need to send you to counseling? I got all these resources for you. He goes, what can I do to help you? And the whole time I'm going, how? And I'm literally hyperventilating. Oh, don't know. I'm gonna tell my mom. And that is literally my biggest problem was how am I going to tell my mom that I'm pregnant again?
That's
So,
awesome. So
and that's the only thought that went through my head is not how am I going to do this or what am I going to do. It was literally how am I going to tell my mom. And the second time I hyperventilated is when they told me I was having a girl because I didn't want a girl.
boom. Take that, Ariana. That's right.
Oh,
Anyway,
she knows. She knows. I told her. I said I didn't know. My favorite color was not pink, and I was like, "What am I going to do with a little girl?" And during football season,
boom. Second
yeah,
time. So, okay, is Ariana a sports fan? We've never talked about that.
she is, but she isn't. She's not like me that can sit in front of the TV on Sundays and watch football. She will go to like games and stuff, live events, but she's like, yeah, okay, uh, I can do with or without it.
Yeah. Okay, so you spent 12 years, you put 12 years in the Army. You are pregnant with Ariana while you're in service. What does that look like? Like, you're pregnant, you're stationed in Hawaii. What does that pregnancy look like? Walk us through that.
Tell you honestly, excuse me, it wasn't pregnancy as hard as it is. I was single. Um, the the person who got me pregnant was not in the picture, not because he didn't want to be, but military life is one of those that we kind of split because he was sent somewhere else to another duty assignment. When soon after I found out I was pregnant, and then we kind of lost contact. So that was not that he was not a factor in this pregnancy. But I had a great support chain, great people who um were there for me. So God, pregnancy was hard, but I had a great support chain that did not never gave up on me.
Right.
And so it was even to the point where as a single female, I was supposed to move out of the barracks because I was living in the barracks. My command decided that that was not a good solution to my problem and let me stay in the barracks until I gave birth. That way, I had a support chain around me at all times. And that's what happened. I stayed in the barracks, and then when I gave birth, the command rushed my paperwork to find me on post housing so I could move me and Ariana into. It didn't happen right away, so I stayed with a friend. But probably about a month later, I had my own place on post to live with Ariana. And luckily for Hawaii, they actually allow you to get loaner furniture on base. So yeah, they literally the support chain helped me do all of that within the first couple of months that Ariana was born. So it was great people, awesome people.
So, how long, like, does Ariana remember anything about Hawaii? How long were you there in Hawaii with her?
18 months.
Okay, yeah,
I
she has no idea. Yeah.
no, no. All she knows is pictures.
So did grandma or one of the aunts come over and help, or what does that look like?
Aunt Carol came by and helped for a while. After I gave birth, I think 6 months I was home with Ariana. After that, I needed help, so Aunt Carol came to help me. So I didn't have to pay for daycare.
Yeah. Love my Aunt Carol. That's right. Um, so okay, okay, you're still in service while Ariana is growing up. How long into Ariana's existence is it until you retire?
Oh, I didn't retire. I separated due to end of contract.
Okay.
Ariana was born in '98. I got no. She was 8 years old.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. Um, Looking at Ariana and the person that she is, obviously she's got her degrees and her dedication. And I, could easily do a whole sit down interview with her over her story. Amazing story. She's got grit, determination, all of it. And what's so awesome about her, um, and I'm probably going to say this wrong. Everything she's been through, she's kept her soul. Like she's still like this legitimately good person. Amazing. What are some things looking at Ariana that you're most proud of her?
Whew. She is probably one of a true, pure-hearted people that you'll probably ever meet. She is loyal to a fault. Um, she loves intensely. I am just proud of her her ability to be her, to be independent, to hmm, be outspoken when necessary. But she loves her family, regardless of everything. She she could have turned out so many different ways, but she truly, truly, I'm more proud of the fact that she loves her grandmother to a fault.
Yeah.
She truly does. She would do just about anything for her grandmother. And that is something that I have not in my lifetime had to experience because didn't have that kind of relationship with any grandmothers. So I am truly proud of that relationship between her and grandma.
Yeah. So we went through the buffet. Yes, it's Chase Lay's podcast. So if there's a thought process that we're going to not discuss food at some point, you know, if you were looking for that, anybody should have tuned into somebody else's podcast. But um, we come to Virginia and we go to this buffet. Cannot remember the name of it. What's the name of it?
United Buffet.
United Buffet. Easily, if you're ever around like the DC, Stratford, all that area, United Buffet is easily the cleanest buffet I've ever been to. Easily. Um, so one of the desserts they have, and honestly, it's a seafood bar, but there's so much more stuff, and it's clean. Like it's not junky, janky, all that stuff. And I'm not putting them over, but it is factual. Um, One of the desserts they have is cheesecake. And grandma looks at me and she goes, "Oh, you need to try cheesecake. You need to try cheesecake." Now it's not Nana's. It's not Nana's. She like all weekend long talks so much about how proud she is of Ariana. It would have been so easy to talk about how much she loves her, and that's easy, but just proud of the human being she is. So I agree with that a thousands and thousands percent. Absolutely. And Ariana's cheesecake is that legit. And Ariana, I have done really, really good at putting you over in this podcast so far. So Yeah, I want a cheesecake in return. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I will let her know that.
Anyway, oh, I'll send this to her. Don't you worry about that. So Ariana has basically been your ride or die. Um, basically since birth. Obviously, she's your daughter. She's part of you. But what has Ariana meant to you over the years? Like, obviously, that I have no doubts, and we'll get into this more in a second. There's mental struggles, emotional struggles with I put a kid up for adoption. Like, am I ever going to get to be a mother? What kind of mother am I going to be? X, Y, Z. And then Ariana comes around. So, what has she meant to you as like a mom? What has she meant to you as an adult? What has she meant to you as a human being?
Ooh, that is a good one.
You're welcome.
um, hmm. Ariana will always be my pride and joy. She has taken being a my the biggest thing I always told Ariana, she always used to say, like most kids, I want to be like you when I grow up. I always told her, I said, please don't be like me. I said, please be better than me. And that wasn't mean to be in a bad way. That was just to say, hey, strive to be better. I might be good and you look up to me, but be better than me. Shh. Okay. Okay. Bear's growling. But no, but she's I haven't. I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but she's literally. She doesn't. Hmm. She's not. She's never complained. Just thinking back, there was. I mean, the biggest complaint I think she's ever made was not complaint. The biggest thing that she ever asked me for was she wanted a baby brother, and I got her a dog. But she has just been so understanding. It might be because more I didn't like hold punches to talk about some of the ups and downs that we've had together as she was growing up. I didn't hold punches back, but she's always been very understanding um of our situation, and she's never held it against me that she didn't have everything that she's ever wanted. In fact, I don't even know what she's never wanted for much except just love. That's all she's ever really wanted. We were not short of giving her between me, grandma, her papa. So she's never been short of love, but she's never actually really wanted for anything. Not in the monetary or um in that sense. So I don't know. She just turned she's just awesome.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for anything better.
That's right. That's right. You've done a great job. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, looking at who she is and knowing that you are a large hand that's had in her raising. Yes, you had your village. She's had her village over the years, but you've done awesome providing that village. You've done awesome being a parent for her. So by all means, excellente, excellente. So we're getting ready to step into the reconnection part. So over the years, from 17 until reconnection, was there ever the wonders? Did I make a mistake? Did I make a mistake putting my baby up for adoption? Like, could I have? The hypotheticals.
Honestly, no, I did not. Did I ever go onto the internet and see if I could find you just by your first and middle name? Yes. But I did not regret my decision. I probably, um, if in my heart of hearts I thought that there was any way that you would have been hurt or lived a not so good life, then maybe, but I did not have regrets in my decision. I'm glad I didn't have regrets, and I'm glad you turned out to be a awesome, awesome man and father and husband. If that was different, then maybe have regrets now. But through the years, I did not. I've thought about you and hoped that you were doing well, but regrets, I have to say I did not have regrets because to have regrets and to look at full picture, if I had kept you, you probably would not have a sister for one. Two, I probably would not have done the things that I have done just to make you proud if we had ever met.
Sure.
So no, no regrets.
I like that. I like that. I like the message in that of regret being the anchor that can hold you back. I like that. That's good. Um, so in your mind, if reconnection was going to happen, obviously you can't think of this stuff all the time. You have a daughter to raise, and she deserves all of you. But in your mind, if reconnection was going to happen, in your mind, how was it going to happen? Like the way you played it out in your head.
Ooh, I don't know. I think it was more of I don't know if it could have gone any differently than the way it did, or or just one day showing up at my doorstep talking about, "Hey, I'm your son." Either way, I think the shock would have been pretty much the same. I'm maybe subconsciously I thought about it more and more as Ariana got older because I did tell her said if you ever meet a man by the name of Chase Alexander, please do not date him. So I did tell her that many, many times.
I
I
forgot
said,
that. That's good.
yeah, because I said, that might not turn out very well, and I would hate to be the one to tell you that you cannot have that relationship. So, so there was always a possibility, but that was probably like the worst scenario ever between you and your sister. That if she came home one day talking about, "Hey, mom, I love him," like, oh no, that can't happen. So, so there was always a possibility, but um, in all honesty, I had kept my word that I would not come searching for you, even though you were much older. It was more of I didn't want to be that person if you did not know that you were adopted, and then surprise, then I couldn't, that whole lifetime drama stuff again.
Right.
All of a sudden you show up like, well, I didn't know I was adopted. It's like, oh crap, sorry. So didn't want that. So I'm glad you guys were looking for me, and I'm glad it turned out the way that it did. But yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I would not have searched for you, afraid to that I would turn your life upside down.
So, you leave a letter, a necklace, um, a picture, and a card, like an ID card of the adoption agency. I love that, but in your mind, when you're 17 years old, was that like breadcrumbs? Hey, if you ever want to try to find, here's here's the breadcrumbs. Obviously, the letter is, hey, this is for my son, but everything else, what was the reasoning behind that?
I don't recall, I don't think in my mind I was leaving breadcrumbs, but I did want you to know that why I did it. Maybe it was breadcrumbs because I was like, maybe one day you would. But at that time, I wanted you to know that you were loved and that I wanted you to have pieces of me. That's what the necklace was for. To show that, no, you are mine. In fact, I have your birth certificate in my firebox, your original one, your original
Yeah.
application for a birth certificate. But no, that was literally I just wanted tokens of me to be in the letter. But maybe it was breadcrumbs at that time. That maybe sometime in the future. Um, but I don't know.
The only reason I say breadcrumbs is because it looks breadcrumbish. Like in the letter, it's your first, middle, and last name, the adoption agency, like all the breadcrumbs are there. So
It was actually the adoption agency that recommended that I write you a letter.
really,
Yes. They said they didn't write they said, you can leave a letter and you'll stay with us. Um in fact, it was not me who put the card in there.
okay.
I did the letter and I did the necklace and I gave it to them and they did what they I don't know what they did with it. They just said they'll keep it on file.
One of the it's not one of the biggest regrets, but a regret I have in my life is having no neck. Because
Well,
when I
I don't have much of one either. I'm sorry.
when I and obviously I've dropped weight, so like it's a little bit better, but I get the necklace and it's just like, God, like maybe a watch. Um, but so on my end, the story is, and I was raised by good parents, good people, had a good home. My adopted mom has passed. Um, Dad obviously still lives in Tennessee. Um, but anyway, an awesome stepdad. Um, so a few months after mom died, my stepdad calls and asked me if I was ever given a letter from my bio mom. Like I didn't know. So, and I will give some grace. If I ever did know, I don't remember. So, is it possible? Like I'll put in the shades of gray. Is it possible when I was a lot younger? I do remember when I was told, "Hey, you're adopted." I was very, very young. I can remember where I was sitting at. Is it possible it came up in that conversation? Absolutely. Is it something that was advertised? No. So anyway, there's this letter. The letter's in Tennessee. I'm in Indiana. I want that freaking letter now. Like now. Okay, but I can't drive 5.5 hours down south to get it right now. So my awesome stepsister Crystal, I text her, who is obviously my stepdad's daughter, and I was like, "Hey, just go take pictures of it. I don't care if you read it. Like, I just, I just want the letter." And so she goes, takes pictures of it, and she said, "Hey, I got the letter." And I said, "All I need to know before you send it is it bad?" Because I had no clue. And she said, "I think you'll love it." So she sends me the pictures. I read the letter, bawl like a baby, because in my head, how this would work, and I don't know why, but in my head, I would be 42 years old, 42, 38, somewhere in that range. I would meet you, I would have a wife and two kids, and say, "Hey, here's who I am." And it would be this whole thing. So I'm reading this letter, and this is the first time I've had anything of your voice. And there was so much of it that just grabbed my heart. And the necklace, everything's there. Um, yeah. So um, I read it to the church because in our church we've got a couple people that were adopted and found their bios. Well, also in our church, the two ladies that helped find those two bio parents of the people in our church, they also attend our church and love those girls to death. They're so close to my heart and my family. And you met one of them, Caitlin. You met when you and Grandma came up. Um, so after church, they're like, "Hey, can we see the letter?" And so I gave him my phone, and within 40 minutes was like, "Hey, here's three options." It's like, what is that? Because in my mind, like I just got this earth-shattering letter that is probably the most important piece of paper I've had in my hands outside of the Bible. And like, okay, I'm going to take a few days, a week or two to digest this, and then I'm going to start the process. Within a couple months, it'll be fine. I wasn't thinking, hey, you got the letter 2 hours ago. Hey, 2 hours later, you're going to have three names in your hand if you want to connect. So, for those that don't know this about me, my stomach is junk. Like, holy help me, Jesus. So, when I met my fam, obviously Korean food's a thing. A lot of it I love, some of it hates me. Ki- Kimchi, wow. Good good stuff, but it hates me. Like, so my stomach, when I realize, hey, you've got these three ladies in your hands, these three names, one of them's your mom, like I couldn't eat because this is a lot. And it was, I want to say 10:08 because I remember everything about it. And what a freaking odd conversation too. And I remember my wife Faith was sitting there, mother-in-law Karen's right across from me, and I was like, "How do you even start this conversation?" Like, "Hello, my name's Chase. Is this you?" Because I took a picture of the picture. Is this you? I know this is random. I'm just a guy looking for my mom. Okay, there's a 1 in 3 chance I get the right person. There's a two part of that I sent it to a no. It's not the right person. Can you imagine being the fricker that opens up that and then like, oh, this poor depressed human being is looking for their mother. Like, you know what? I'll be your mom, and there's nothing I can do to say, oh well, you know what? You're my mom now. I like it. So I type up this message, delete it, type it, delete it, type it, delete it. Like, fine, whatever. Send it, and she won't respond because number one, that's creepy. Like, I wouldn't respond. If it was me, I wouldn't respond. So, what's going through your mind? Okay, I guess this would be a better question. Not to say had you given up, but had you come to peace with, hey, reconnection might not happen.
Yes, I did make that I did make peace with that. That if you knew or did not know that you're living your life, and I had made peace that reconnection was a shot in the dark.
Right. So you get a Facebook message. What, like, what's your reaction? What's your thoughts? You get this message from this random guy that's like old and, hey, am I your baby boy? So what's that look like on your end?
Literally, in my mind and out loud came out, "Oh crap!" And I was like, "This can't be for real." I was I was literally in shock. I literally was. And then at first I was like, "Nah, this gotta be this can't be." That's why I had asked those. I think I said this very specifically, your date of birth, And then it was like, yeah, this still could be a joke. This could be like this massive scam somehow. But literally, oh crap, went through my brain.
Now, just because I know you, is that the censored version?
Yes.
I love you so much. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay because literally, oh crap, the heart fluttering, the knots in the stomach, and I was like, oh my god. I said, really? Then I think after we exchanged messages a couple times, then I woke up your grandmother because I was at her house. I woke her up, Mom, Mom, and she said, what? I said, Rashad found me. So yeah, and then of course she was like, what? What are you talking about? So I showed her my phone. She was like, oh my god. And that was not that's not
That's the real
that's,
one. That's the
yeah,
real
that's
one.
yes.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm sitting there on my couch, um, and your response back was, "Is your middle name Alexander?" And I have no idea why that sent me over the edge, but I just got like so much joy slash shock. I burst into tears because, like, oh my God, this is real. Like, this is legit happening. And that was at 10 o'clock. I think we messaged till around 12:30, 1 o'clock, something like that. Um, so more than awesome. And for those that don't know, I am not the most educated in the world. Um, so correct me if I'm wrong. How to spell my birth name is Ranjin, right?
No.
No?
No, 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 no.
Well, here we go.
Your first name was Rashawn.
Right. Yes, but it was spelled different.
It was Rashaun.
Oh, that would have helped. Yeah. Okay, so that's not the spelling that I was given. So the spelling that I was given was Ranjin.
No.
So I told the world. Oh, here we go. I
Oh, I
told
have it.
the I I told the world that my name was Rajin. Ranjin. Rajin.
No,
Look at
it's
that.
actually I even said it wrong. It's Rashon. Rashawn.
So yeah, I'm an idiot. But anyway, um, so 20 so the next morning hits, I'm on my way to work, and you hit me with, "Good morning, baby, just want to tell you I love you," which again, ultimate tears, because like, the communication that you never thought you would have of your mom, it's now a thing. So this is a thing. Scoot up the clock a few hours later, grandma had just had wrist surgery, and FaceTime, and grandma goes into like Jesus mode. Oh, Rashawn is back. And I told Faith afterward, I was like, okay, cool. I've got one person in my entire life that calls me Rashawn now. That's cool. I like it. So one thing I do, I guess I should get this too. What was the family's reaction? And I do want to remind people, this isn't as much for me. I love hearing the recollection of the story. I freaking love it. But we'll get to the face to face of it in a minute or two. But this is more for the people that, hey, looking at it from the person that put their child up for adoption. This is that side of the fence. What was the family's reaction? Obviously, grandma's over the moon, but like, oh my God, your son found you. What was their reaction? Like, what was sister's reaction? What was the aunt's?
Complete shock at first, but they were over the moon also. Literally, it was I think they're more excited and happy for me that it was happening. But they truly were. They were truly happy. Um, that this is, it was like the best news on earth. You're like, ooh, new shiny thing in the family,
Yeah.
and couldn't wait to touch you and hold you and see you in person because you're the new shiny thing in the family.
Right. So let's speed up a little bit. July would roll around, and there's going to be a get together at Grandma's. Grandma lives in Georgia. Grandma and Aunt Sue live in Georgia. What town? Nobody needs to know. So go fly a kite. So we are in Florida for vacay. Hey, we're going to come up. Sure, we'll be there and meet everybody. We come up from Orlando, go to Georgia, um, and pull up in Grandma's driveway. You know, what did that moment mean to you? Of hey, okay, the connection that you had peace about won't happen. Okay, the connection happens, but now the physical meeting is happening. What did that moment mean to you?
Oh my gosh, I was so nervous to meet you in faith. I really was. I didn't know if I was gonna hug you to death or pee my pants. But it was it was so exciting. It was. It was like the best thing on earth. And I just my heart was full. It felt like it was gonna burst. It was either that or my bladder, but I think my heart would have burst first. Um, and literally, I couldn't. I just felt, Dana, I was at peace. I was so full of love and happiness, but my soul was at peace. I had both my babies, and there was nothing that could top it. Literally, I couldn't imagine a better day.
So, loads of funnies over that weekend. We were down, but easily the best one. Everybody up here was like, "Oh my God, you got to get a video." Oh my God. So Aunt Carol, whom I love dearly, just if anybody's wondering, where I get this extroverted crazy from, there's a high chance it's her. Like, mom's awesome. She's probably where I get my chill out. Aunt Sue's great. Love her to death. So Aunt Carol is going to film this connection happening. So we get out, mom and I embrace. It's a whole thing. I'm in shock. Cried later because in that moment you are so wondering of what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I? And then the moment happens, and then you forget what you plan to do. So Aunt Carol's filming it. You know, she's crying. Everybody's teared up. Anyway, she sends me the video, and it's like 36, 37 seconds. And I'll give you the censored version because it's a podcast. Like, she looks at me and she goes, nephew, I F that up. And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, yeah, I had my finger over the camera. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like, it's literally 30 some seconds worth of you can hear like sobs and like happiness and all that stuff. You got nothing. You got nothing. And it was great. Um, that weekend, I would easily rank one of the best in my life. Just, the thought of everything you never thought you have it now. And it's so new and it fits like a glove. And like you think this is just going to be forever. And so many good moments. I connect with my cousins. The cousins are great. We go to the lake one day. That's great. Loads of good food. Obviously, Korean food, American, just it's a good time. I watched the Stranger Things season finale. That was awesome. Um, got to go see Grandpa's grave. Grandma wanted me to go on a walk with her at 5 a.m., but what she truly meant was 4:45 because I got up at 10 till she was gone. Um, Faith got hand-fed Korean food. That was awesome to see. I loved every minute of that because I know the germaphobe she is, and that made me so happy. Um, and then, the weekend comes to an end, and so, it's the hugs and love you, see you buys. Okay. So, it's kind of like having a kid. This moment you've always wanted happens. Oh crap. But now you have to be a parent. And so much for it just being like a shot in the arm, hoorah. Now it's life. So, I probably should back up just a little bit. If you could put into words, what was that weekend like for you? Because you did an awesome job. Faith and I've talked a lot about it. You know, it would have been very easy for you to be like, hey, I've wanted you for almost 30 years now. You're not going anywhere else. You're staying here with me for X amount of days straight. You won't sleep, you won't eat, you won't drink. You'll sit right here in front of me. We will stare at each other. But you did great at go spend time with your cousins. Go XYZ. If if you're putting into words what that weekend was like for you, what would you say?
Um, in all, it was almost like, even though we hadn't seen each other or known each other in 30 years, it was almost to the point of like not missing a beat with you.
Yeah,
It was like you showed up and it was like, okay, okay, nice to see you, son. Great you're here. Go hang out with your cousins. Bye.
yeah,
Go hang out with your cousins because that's more important. I'm still here. Don't worry about it. I'll be here when you get back. So it was like wrapping you in the fold of kids and nieces and nephews. It was just like wrapping you up with all of them. And it was like, go, go have a good time. I'm not going anywhere. It was like, it, and it wasn't me trying to be, I didn't even feel like you needed to be there with me. It was literally, I felt like we had not missed a beat. And it was like, okay, y'all go hang out. I'll be here with grandma. It's okay. I'll talk to you a little bit later. But literally, it was like we've always done it. I mean, literally, I felt like nothing. It really just felt like, okay, we're all together. It's a family reunion. Okay, y'all kids go hang out. I'll be here. I'm a little sleepy. Go hang out and we'll talk a little bit later. Like we never missed anything.
yeah,
And it felt awesome that literally it was no there was no awkwardness
yeah. That's true.
of any like, should I or shouldn't I? Is he going to feel that I don't want to be with him? It was just more of, no, okay, love you. Go hang out. I mean, that's how I felt. It was just like you've always been there. And I was like, well, yeah, we'll talk a little bit later. I ain't going nowhere. So it just literally just like, literally that's how I felt. Just, I was glad you guys could hang out, but I literally didn't feel like, I didn't feel that we needed to stare at each other all night long.
Right.
So it's kind of, I don't know. I just felt comfortable in saying, go hang out with your cousins.
Yeah. And one thing I loved, Faith sits, and I don't even know if Faith remembers this. We were probably 30 minutes from Grandma's house, and she looked at me and she said, hey, don't forget, you only have a couple of days here. I know you've got 30 questions, 30,000 questions, but don't forget to enjoy this. Basically saying, don't get so caught up on getting all the answers to the questions that you just forget to take all this in. Um, and boy, was she shocked because out of the two of us, I'm adaptable.
Hmm.
Put me anywhere, I'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Faith, she had a good time, but just processing. I don't need that. I'll process after. It'll be fine. But no, had a great time. Grandma opened up her house to us. Awesome time. Uncle Maceo, Aunt Sue, that was amazing. Um, yeah, just great. Had meaningful, obviously had fun chats with the aunts, but had meaningful chats. It was good. 10 out of 10 weekend. Great time. Okay. Life afterward. So there is a little bit, and I tell kids now, and you'll love this because you don't know this. Um, whether it's my messed up past because I've made bad decisions over the years, as everyone has, um, or just my adopted past, I use that stuff to connect with my kids that I work with. So there are literally kids at my high school right now that call me Rashawn. And the reason is it helps them connect because in their mind, they have a connection with me that other people don't. And is Rashawn the name that I'm most accustomed to going by? No. But if it helps them, I'm all good. Let's do it. Um, there is, life after. There's a hang up there, and I tell people this, hey, you've went 20 plus years without having someone in your life. Okay, you and them and everyone involved have their own lives, have their own systems, their own patterns, who they talk to, who they check in with. Everything's there. I don't want to say awkwardness because that might not be a good enough term, but speak to what it's like of okay, this is not just a new friend that I met that is going to work into the communication system. This is my son. So starting a relationship, keeping that relationship going, and then okay, by the way, to all the aunts and the cousins and like this person now and his wife are now a part of. And if I'm not making sense on this one, please tell me. Speak to the process, the mental processing, awkwardness, whatever it is. Hey, making these two families coexist and putting them part of the system. I gave you a lot there. If I need to do better with that, let me know.
No, no, actually, that makes perfect sense. Literally, this is me on the selfish side of me. Um, Screw my family. I need to do the relationship first. So the only way to start that process is to say, first we have to get over our awkwardness together. There's some understanding and learning personalities.
Good point.
Um, but between me and you, it was more of, well, me trying to build that relationship with you is like, hey, where is the limit? Where you go, okay, you're pushing the boundaries. This is weird. Um, but just letting you know that I am here for you. Um, but also not trying to push at the same time. I'm not an overly affectionate person, but I always have a great ear for listening. But I always wanted you to know that I was here for you and Faith and always here to listen and talk, but not get not be overbearing. Um, as far as the rest of the family, they accepted you and that's all that mattered in my book. If they decided to have a relationship with you beyond that weekend that we were together, then that was on them. They're all adults except for Jamil. Um,
Whom I
so
freaking love. I love that kid.
yes, yes, him and his god awful deep voice. Oh my gosh, how is he only 17 years old and sound like Barry White? I don't know.
That's right.
But no. I truly was hoping and praying that you would build a bond with the rest of the family, but my biggest concern was between me and you, you and Faith, and you and your sister.
Yeah.
Um, which I know the relationship between you and Ariana are a little awkward. Because Ariana is who she is, and she is very busy living her life.
Right. Right.
So, but which by the way, it still shocks me that she actually asked you to officiate her wedding, and I didn't know
Oh,
about that before she
Jesus.
did it. No, no, I'm just saying it was a shock that she did. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was happily surprised, but I also believe that it was in the cards for you just to enjoy the wedding.
Yeah, I rank that pretty high on my most like my biggest mistakes was it, you know, it shocked me that she wanted me to officiate the wedding. Um for those reasons. I'll admit a mistake that I made when we all first connected. That first weekend went so good that in my mind, okay, hey, now we can just be family. Meaning, like, I'm going to treat you like my sister. I'm going to treat this one like my cousins. And we're all just going to freaking, talk all the blessed time because, like, close families is what I'm surrounded by. Like, and I know this may not go over well, but again, my podcast, my rules. Um, Faith's family, extremely close. Love that. Um, you know, there's, my step siblings, their families, and I know proximity doesn't help that. Like I'm not an idiot to say, hey, it doesn't, it shouldn't bother things that we live 5.5 hours apart. But on the same hand, like that weekend went so good in my mind. Next week there will be no awkwardness. So it almost came across more as hey, trying to force something to fit instead of just letting it develop because it's not the same thing as okay, we were born and raised together. Like what's so odd about the family dynamic is in my adopted side, I've always been the baby. Okay, in my bio side, I'm the oldest. Take that, Trey. Um, but you know, my wrong was expecting those relationships to just bam. Like Ariana and I, um, you know, we are great now. Um, and I would say, we got a lot closer through the marriage counseling and all that stuff. Um, but again, it was having to restart because we tried to force it and then just letting it be. She has her busyness. I have my busyness. We are who we are. Um, but I told Faith, I said, we've been siblings forever by blood, but now like it feels like it. And sentimental as heck, I get it. Like ever since Ellie's been born, I've turned into this soft thing. Um, like
Eh.
I almost and hate to admit this because makes me sound how it sounds. Ariana hugged me and I told her I loved her, and she said I love you too. And when she said I love you too, like I almost teared up because I was like, oh my God, okay, that's not so. Um, when she asked me to do the wedding, it shocked me because we hadn't talked in a long time. Um, and for all those in Virginia, like screw you and your political system. Um, like I'm licensed through Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and maybe somewhere else that I'm not thinking of. It took 3 days max to get that done. They needed my ordination certificate and they needed something else, get it through the system, bam, over with. Ariana reaches out to me the Monday before the wedding and is like, "Hey, you're licensed, right?" I was like, "Dude, chill out. It'll take a day." So I told Faith, I said, "Hey, you need to check this because she does great with that stuff." Okay, turns out like it takes like a move of Congress just to get freaking licensed. Um, takes like 2 to 4 weeks. So, you know, told her that. I hated to, but like all in all, I hated with a severe passion that I couldn't do that for her. But on the flip side of the coin, the enjoyment of being there for that day, 10 out of 10. Loved every minute of it. So, looking at the communication now and the relationships now, oh, here's the question straight from the subject line. Knowing that your son and your daughter have a relationship, how does that make you feel?
Overjoyed. It truly is. Now, Ariana did know about you growing up. She did know. It wasn't the way I wanted her to find out about it, but she did know. So it was not a surprise for her. Well, originally it was a surprise when she found out the way that she did, that she had a half brother. But when you guys met, she wasn't surprised because she knew she had one. Now, the relationship part and me knowing her mentality, if I had tried to push that relationship, she would have pushed away from you.
Right.
So that's why I didn't push the relationship. We'd every now and then I go, "Hey, so have you talked to your brother?" He goes, "No." Oh, okay. I just left it alone. So, but I think there's mixed emotions originally because she's not gonna be too happy with me telling you this. She did the whole 18 and me or whatever the heck ancestry or whatever, and she found her biological father. And she met him and his wife and found out she had two half brothers. So she was like the middle child. And she has a niece on from her oldest half brother or whatever. I don't remember. But that relationship soured very quickly. So um she was cautious about opening up to a relationship, knowing that she has another half brother. Well, not another. She always knew you were her half brother, but she was cautious about opening up to and opening her heart to you because she wasn't sure if that relationship would sour quickly, especially since it didn't go well with her biological father and his children. So don't give her this video, please. She gonna or cut this part out or something. But yeah, so that was, I believe, she didn't really talk to me about it, but I do believe that that was why she was standoffish originally.
Well, and
Um,
here's what I can say to that. And I would say this to anybody that's trying to rebuild the family thing, not just through adopteds and all that, but sometimes families get janky and it is what it is. Um, you try to put the big sentimental lines out of, hey, I'm here, like not going anywhere. And that all sounds so cool and it's so good. Okay, but when you're dealing with people, there's a high chance they've been told that by people who left. So, me telling Ariana, me telling Jamil, me telling whoever it is, hey, I'm not here for the short time, I'm here for the long haul. Okay, cool. But what proves that is the long haul. Like in some form or fashion, I've been around since we met a few years back. Okay, that proves the validity of it. And, in my rushed mind, because I've preached that, I've counseled that to people over for years and years. If I would have lived my own preaching and been like, "Hey, idiot, like you're saying all the right words, just slow down and live it," then that will go farther. Um, so I got that to the thousandth degree. I got that. Um, yeah, and I'm looking forward to the future. Now, this is not on the subject line, but it is something I'm interested in. And I remember, I promise I'll take care of you. You find out that you're going to have a grandchild. Like
Oh my gosh.
I make a phone call and like, hey, oh, just want you to know. And obviously, you were aware of our miscarriages and all that stuff, but like to let you know, like, hey, there's legit, this is happening. And by the way, it's all before you're 50. So, like, what were your thoughts?
The lighter side of my brain said, "Thank God it's not Ariana."
Yeah,
But I was so excited for you and Faith, and oh yeah, I was. Oh, I couldn't. I think my face hurt. I smiled so much. I even went to work and told everybody, "I'm gonna be a grandma." And then that's where the whole meme all came from. So they're the ones that started it. So after that, I was called Meemaw in the office. But I was like, I'm gonna be a grandma. I'm gonna be a grandma. Oh my god, I'm gonna be a grandma. Then the shock kicked in, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be a grandma. I was like, oh no, what do I do? And I was like, I don't want diapers and bottles. I want chicken nuggies and ice cream face. So I'm still
yeah,
waiting for her to get a little bit older, because then I'm gonna be up in Indiana for chicken nuggets and ice cream.
that's right. That's right. And you know, Ariana's time's coming. Obviously, she's gonna be a great freaking mom. And I told Ariana, like, I said, I got the light version of that because you and Grandma come to town, and I get a week. I said, Mom will go way overboard when it's you. I said, so get ready. It's coming. Anyway, yeah, Ellie Ray, she's my world. Love that kid. And she's got so much personality for a baby too. Like
Oh, I
her
can see it in the pictures, and she, yeah, some of those facial expressions she makes is like, wow, I wonder where she gets that from.
that's my kid, man. She's cute. Anyway, um, so got two or three more things left, and you've done excellent, wonderful job. Um, so sometimes you meet the bios, you meet the people, and again, for folks watching, not just that, but you meet people that you haven't got to see in years and years. And I do want to let people know my situation is one in a million. I am not ignorant to that. There are people that meet their bios, and either on the parent side or the kid side, it does not go great. So, like, I highly, highly recommend when people meet bios on both sides, be secure in who you are and have a grip on reality. Because if your feet are in the clouds and that meeting doesn't go how the lifetime special says it's going to go, you're freaking ruined. So, and when I say have a grip on reality, I'm talking about have a grip on the people that you have a grip on the relationships, have a grip on who you are, um, have a grip on who you've been forever. If you need that one moment to be your validation over however many years you've had previously, that might be hanging too much on that. It really, really might. Um, so again, I do realize that our situation is one in a million. Would you agree with that?
I sure do, wholeheartedly.
So looking, you know, you've known me for a few years now. Um, and this isn't me plugging myself, but you meet the son that you always wondered what would he be like. I wonder who he is. I wonder XYZ. Are you proud of the boy you gave birth to?
Most definitely. I could not have imagined you being any any different than what you are right now. I am truly proud of the man you've become, the father and husband you are. You have the best outlook and perspective on life that I've seen in many, many years. You just light up a room when you come in. And I am blessed and I love you.
I love you a lot. Love you a lot. So, two things left. Um, yeah. See, you almost got me with that one. Good
I
job. You almost got me with that one.
almost had an
Um,
Oprah moment.
um, my adopted mom and dad, they did good with me. Um, weren't perfect, made mistakes, but they did good. And obviously, that's a large part of who I am today. I had a great village, aunts and uncles, mama and papa's, people. Um, God God's been good. If you could say one thing, and obviously, my adopted mom, my mom, she's gone on. If you could say one thing to the people that you placed me in their hands, what would it be?
Thank you. Just thank you. Because they did an awesome job with you. And many adoptions don't go well, but they did well with you. We've seen the Lifetime specials where the adoptions don't go good and they turn out to be the worst people on earth. But you're a beautiful person, inside and out. Can't. I couldn't be any more grateful for what they've done with you.
That's awesome. Great job. And lastly, probably the most important question, um, looking at your life as a whole, not just kids, obviously including kids, grandkids, in-laws, um, family dynamic, all of it. Are you happy?
Yes, most of the time, yes. If I said 100% of the time, I'd be lying. So no, because no one, everybody's happy, not happy 100% of the time, but I am happy where my life is at. There's ups and downs as always, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But
Supposedly.
supposedly, but 85% of the time, I'm happy.
I love it. I love it. All right. You've done great. And I've actually hit the hour and a half mark. Great job.
Woo-hoo.
So before you go, um, any last comments? Anything you'd like to touch on?
Um, when's my next grandbaby?
Ah, Jesus.
You don't have to
Work
answer that question.
working on it.
But no, I appreciate the time to to do this with you. I hope we gave a little bit more insight. My biggest thing is for people as a whole, don't judge when it comes to situations like this. Regardless of what the woman decides to do with her life, don't judge because you don't know the circumstances, and until you walk a mile in their shoes, you will not completely understand. So,
What would your advice be to a mother and a family that's, put a child up for adoption? Because you're living the full circle. Like, and there are so many out there. that, they've lived that I put my child up for adoption, but the full circle moment hasn't been a thing yet.
All I can say is live their life to the fullest, but without regret. A lot of times regret is what is the life force that will keep you from reaching your full potential. If you live your life with regret, then you won't make it. But don't anticipate that there is going to be a full circle moment either. So please do not live your life anticipating a full circle moment, but live your life to the fullest without regret if you're doing it for the right reasons.
I love that. And just so you know, you've done an excellent job today. You've done great for yourself. You've made Ariana proud. You've done good. You've done good. You've made your family proud. You've done great. And I'm proud of you as a human being. Proud to call you my mom. And Faith and I both were thankful for you. And Ellie's looking forward to the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you, son. I love you guys and I appreciate the time. And until next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap on episode 46. I would love to tell you what's coming next, but I'll just be honest. Probably ain't going to get any better than what you've just went through. This week, last week, both, I have peaked out. It's all downhill from here, folks. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Mom, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.